The year was 2347. Humanity had finally earned its place among the stars. After 50 years of proving themselves through trade and war, humans were invited to join the Galactic Council. This was the biggest moment in human history. Lieutenant Cole Bennett stood in the transport ship and looked out the window. Below him was the planet Valanthos Prime. It was a neutral world where all species came to talk and make deals. The planet was covered in white and gold buildings that stretched toward the sky like giant fingers. Cole was a soldier. He was 32 years old with short brown hair and strong arms. He had fought in 3 different wars on 3 different planets. He was good at killing things and staying alive. But he had never been to a place like this before. "Stop staring like a farm boy," said Sergeant Lisa Monroe. She stood next to him with her arms crossed. Lisa was from Montana. She was built like a fighter and talked like one too. "We are here to protect the ambassador. Nothing else." "I know," Cole said. But he kept looking anyway. Ambassador Patricia Holloway was the leader of the human group. She was 63 years old with gray hair and sharp eyes. She had been a soldier once, before she became a diplomat. Cole liked her. She did not treat him like he was stupid. The transport landed in front of the Convergence Hall. This was where all the meetings would happen. Cole stepped out and felt his mouth fall open. The hall was made of living crystal. The walls changed colors based on how people felt inside. Right now they were a calm blue. The building was taller than anything Cole had ever seen. It reached so high that he could not see the top. "Close your mouth, Lieutenant," Ambassador Holloway said as she walked past him. "We need to look like we belong here." Cole closed his mouth and followed her inside. The hall was full of aliens. Cole had seen aliens before. He had fought some of them, but he had never seen so many different kinds in one place. There were beings made of light that floated through the air. There were creatures with 10 legs and no eyes. There were things that looked like walking trees and things that looked like living shadows. 40-7. Different species had come to the convergence. Humanity was the newest. They were also the weakest. Cole knew this. Everyone knew this. The human group was given a small area near the back of the hall. It was not a good position. It showed that humans were not important yet. But Ambassador Holloway did not complain. She smiled and shook hands and made small talk with anyone who came near. Cole stood behind her and watched everything. That was his job. Watch and protect. It was during the opening ceremony that Cole first saw her. The ceremony was held in the center of the hall. All the species gathered in a huge circle. Important leaders stood on raised platforms so everyone could see them. Cole was standing with the other human guards when he noticed the highest platform of all, Princess Valara of the Kethmari. Empire stood there like a statue made of moonlight. Cole forgot to breathe. She was unlike anything he had ever seen. Her skin glowed with a soft silver light that shifted to pale blue when she moved. She had 4 eyes, arranged in 2 pairs, and they seemed to see everything at once. Long tendrils fell from her head like hair, but they moved on their own, floating and curling as if they were alive. She was beautiful. Not beautiful like a human woman. Beautiful like a sunset or a storm. Beautiful in a way that made Cole feel small and strange. 12 guards surrounded her platform. They were Kethmari soldiers, each one nearly 8 feet tall. Their armor was not metal. It grew from their bodies like a shell. They carried weapons that Cole did not recognize, but he knew death when he saw it. "Do not stare," Lisa whispered. "Those guards will kill you just for looking too long." Cole forced himself to look away, but his eyes kept returning to the princess. The Kethmari were one of the oldest species in the galaxy. Their empire covered 3 galactic arms. They had been conquering worlds when humans were still living in caves. And Princess Valara was their heir. She was over 3,000 years old. Cole learned more about her as the day went on. He listened to other aliens talk. He heard stories and rumors that no one was allowed to approach the princess ever. In the past 1,000 years, only 12 beings had been granted permission to speak with her directly. The process took years. You had to submit a formal request. Then you had to go through 7 levels of approval. Then you had to perform 3 ritual purifications. Even then, you could only speak to her from a distance of 20 feet. One alien prince had tried to skip the process. He had walked toward her platform without permission. The HFY guards had torn him apart. They found pieces of his body across 3 different star systems. "She is not for the likes of us," Lisa said during their meal break. "She is not for the likes of anyone. The HFY treat her like a goddess." Cole nodded, but he could not stop thinking about her. That night, he lay in his small room and stared at the ceiling. He kept seeing those 4 eyes. He kept wondering what it would be like to stand close to her, to talk to her, to touch her. It was a stupid thought. He was a human soldier. She was an alien princess who had lived for 3,000 years. There were 100 different species between them. There were rules and protocols and guards with weapons that could destroy planets, but Cole had never been good at following rules. That was why he was still a lieutenant after 10 years. That was why he had scars on his body from fights he should have walked away from. He fell asleep thinking about silver skin and 4 eyes that seemed to see everything. The next day, the real work of the convergence began. Ambassador Holloway attended meetings from morning until night. Cole stood guard outside the doors. He watched aliens come and go. He listened to arguments and languages he did not understand, and he noticed something strange. Princess Valara was everywhere. When the human group met with the Trading Council, she was watching from a balcony above. When they walked through the Eastern Gallery, she appeared to look at the art on the walls. When they ate their meals in the human area, Cole could see her through the transparent walls of the upper dining level. At first, he thought it was just chance. The hall was big, but not that big. Maybe they just happened to be in the same places at the same times. But by the 3rd day, Cole was sure. The princess was following them. No, not them. Every time he looked up, her 4 eyes were already looking at him. She never smiled. She never waved. She just watched, like he was something interesting that she had never seen before. Cole did not know what it meant. He did not know if it was good or bad. But he knew one thing for certain. His life was about to change forever. Cole spent the next 2 days trying to convince himself that he was imagining things. Why would an alien princess who had lived for 3,000 years care about a human soldier? It made no sense, but the evidence kept piling up. On the 4th morning, Cole was assigned to guard the entrance to the negotiation chambers. These were the rooms where important deals were made. Only high-ranking diplomats were allowed inside. Cole stood outside the door with his hands behind his back and watched the hallway. An hour into his shift, Princess Valara appeared. She walked down the hallway with her 12 guards surrounding her. Other aliens pressed themselves against the walls to get out of her way. Some of them bowed. Some of them looked away. None of them dared to meet her eyes. Cole met her eyes. He did not mean to do it. It just happened. He looked up and she was looking at him, and neither of them looked away. She slowed as she passed him. Just for a moment. Just enough that Cole knew it was not an accident. Then she was gone, disappearing around a corner with her guards close behind. Lisa found him an hour later. "You look like someone hit you in the head," she said. "I think the princess just noticed me." Lisa grabbed his arm and pulled him into an empty room. She closed the door and looked at him with serious eyes. "Listen to me very carefully," she said. "Whatever you think is happening, it is not happening. The HFY princess does not notice humans. She does not notice anyone. If she looked at you, it was probably because she was thinking about how to kill you. I do not think that was it. Cole, I have known you for 5 years. You are a good soldier. You are also an idiot who takes stupid risks. This is not a risk you can take. The Kethmari would destroy Earth just for making their princess uncomfortable. Cole knew she was right, but he also knew what he had seen. Those 4 eyes had not looked at him like he was an enemy. They had looked at him like he was a puzzle she wanted to solve. That night, the trouble started. The human delegation was eating dinner in their assigned area when a group of Vorati diplomats entered. The Vorati were insect-like creatures, nearly 7 feet tall with hard shells and sharp mandibles. They were known for 2 things: their love of war and their hatred of weakness. Cole counted 6 of them. They were all big. They were all armed. And they were all looking at Ambassador Holloway. "Ambassador," the lead Vorati said. His voice was a series of clicks and buzzes that Cole's translator turned into words. "We have come to discuss the trade agreement." Ambassador Holloway stood up slowly. "The trade agreement was settled yesterday. There is nothing more to discuss. We disagree." The Vorati moved closer. The other aliens in the dining area quickly left. No one wanted to be near a Vorati dispute. "We believe humans should give us better terms. After all, you are new here. You are weak. You need friends." Cole's hand moved toward his weapon. The convergence rules said no weapons were allowed. The convergence rules were a lie. Everyone carried something. Lisa grabbed his wrist. "Do not," she whispered. "They will kill you. They are threatening our ambassador. And if you pull that gun, they will have an excuse to kill all of us." Ambassador Holloway had not moved. She stood facing the Vorati with her shoulders straight and her chin high. "The terms of the agreement are fair. We will not change them." The lead Vorati leaned closer. His mandibles clicked near her face. "Perhaps we should teach you what happens to species who do not show proper respect." Cole pulled away from Lisa. He did not draw his weapon, but he stepped forward, putting himself between the ambassador and the Vorati. "Step back," he said. The Vorati looked at him like he was an insect. "A soldier? You send a soldier to face me? I have killed hundreds of your kind. Then kill one more." Cole kept his voice calm. "But know that the whole galaxy is watching, and they will see what happens when the Vorati attack unarmed diplomats at a peace conference." For a long moment, no one moved. Cole could hear his own heart beating. He could feel sweat forming on his back. The Vorati could kill him with one swing of his arm. Everyone in the room knew it. Then a new voice filled the air. "The human delegation is under Kethmari protection." Everyone turned. Princess Velara stood at the entrance to the dining area. She was alone. No guards, no attendants. Just her, glowing like a star in the dim light. The lead Vorati made a strange sound. It might have been fear. "Your Highness, we meant no disrespect. We were simply having a discussion with the humans. The discussion is over." The princess walked forward. Her 4 eyes never left the Vorati. "Any insult to the human delegation is an insult to my house. Any attack on them is an attack on the Kethmari Empire. Do you understand?" The Vorati understood. They backed away quickly, their clicking sounds becoming soft and apologetic. Within seconds, they were gone. Ambassador Holloway let out a breath. "Your Highness, I thank you for your help. But I must ask, why? Why would the Kethmari protect humans?" Princess Velara turned to look at Cole. Her 4 eyes studied him like he was the most interesting thing in the universe. "Because I find your species fascinating," she said. "And I want to see what you do next." Then she was gone. Her guards appeared from nowhere and surrounded her as she left the dining area. Cole watched her go, his heart still pounding. Ambassador Holloway grabbed his arm. "What did you do?" "I do not know." The HFY princess just declared us under her personal protection. That has not happened to any species in over 1,000 years. Something made her do that. What was it? Cole shook his head. He had no answers. Only more questions. That night, an invitation arrived at his quarters. It was written on paper that glowed faintly in the dark. The words were in both HFY and English. Princess Valara of the HFY Empire requested the presence of Lieutenant Cole Bennett for a private meeting. Ambassador Holloway studied the invitation for hours. She called in experts. She analyzed the language. She discussed protocols with other diplomats. This is not normal, she said finally. The HFY do not do private meetings. They do not do informal. Everything they do follows strict rules that are thousands of years old. So what do I do? You go. Ambassador Holloway looked at him with serious eyes. We cannot refuse. Refusing would be an insult. But Cole, listen to me. The princess is ancient. She's been playing political games since before humans existed. Whatever she wants from you, it is not just conversation. Cole nodded. He understood. The part of him did not care about politics or games or danger. Part of him just wanted to see those four eyes again. The meeting was set for the next morning. Cole did not sleep that night. He lay in his bed and stared at the ceiling and wondered what was going to happen. He was a human soldier. She was an alien princess. Between them stood 3,000 years of age, millions of light years of space, and rules that had never been broken. But Cole had never been good at following rules, and for the first time in his life, that felt like a good thing. The corridor leading to the meeting place was long and strange. Cole walked through it for what felt like miles, but when he looked back, he could still see the entrance only 30 feet behind him. Space worked differently in HFY architecture. He emerged into a garden that should not have existed inside a building. Plants from 100 different worlds grew in perfect arrangements. Flowers with petals like glass caught the light and threw rainbows across the ground. Trees with silver bark reached toward a ceiling that looked exactly like an open sky. The air smelled sweet and clean. Princess Valara waited by a fountain in the center of the garden. The water in the fountain flowed upward instead of down, rising toward the false sky and disappearing into nothing. A guard stood at the edges of the garden, far enough away to give the illusion of privacy. Lieutenant Bennett. Her voice was like music played on an instrument Cole had never heard. Please sit. A chair appeared beside Cole. It had not been there a moment before. He sat down and felt the chair adjust itself to his body, becoming perfectly comfortable. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Cole studied the princess, and she studied him. Her four eyes moved independently, looking at different parts of him at the same time. Her tendrils floated gently in the air, occasionally reaching toward him before pulling back. Your invitation said you wanted to discuss human military traditions, Cole said finally. I lied. Cole blinked. Then why am I here? Because I wanted to understand something. The princess leaned forward slightly. Her skin glowed brighter when she moved. When you stood between your ambassador and the Varati, you knew you would die. The Varati are stronger than humans, faster than humans. One blow from their claws would have removed your head from your body. Why did you do it? Cole thought about the question. He had been asked similar questions before by officers and doctors and people who did not understand. Because it was my job, he said. Because the ambassador trusted me to protect her. That is not a complete answer. No, it is not. Cole paused. He was not good with words. He was a soldier, not a poet. But something in those four eyes made him want to try. Humans do not think before we act, he said slowly. Not when it matters. When someone we care about is in danger, we just move. We do not calculate the odds. We do not weigh the costs. We just do what needs to be done, even if it means death. Especially then. Cole met her eyes. Dying for something that matters is not the worst thing that can happen to a human. Living knowing you could have helped and did not help. That is worse. Princess Valara was silent for a long moment. Her tendrils had stopped moving. Her 4 eyes were all focused on him now. My people are not like that, she said softly. The Kethmari calculate everything. Every action, every word, every gesture is measured against 1,000 years of rules and traditions. We do not act without thinking. We do not risk without planning. We do not love without contracts. That sounds lonely. The princess made a sound that might have been a laugh. It is efficient. Our empire has lasted for 10,000 years because we did not make mistakes. We do not let emotions control our actions. But you protected the human delegation, Cole said. Was that calculated? Partially. Her 4 eyes gleamed. I wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to see how the other species would react to humans having Kethmari support. And the other part? The princess was quiet. Her glow dimmed slightly, like a star hidden by thin clouds. I have lived for 3,000 years, she said. I have seen empires rise and fall. I have watched species evolve and die. I have attended 100 convergences and met 1,000,000 different beings. And in all that time, I have never done a single thing simply because I wanted to. Cole frowned. Nothing? In 3,000 years? Nothing. Every action I take must serve the empire. Every word I speak must follow protocol. Every relationship I have must be approved by councils and committees. Her tendrils drooped. Do you know what it is like to never make a choice for yourself? No, Cole admitted. I cannot imagine it. Your species fascinates me, Lieutenant. You are so new, so raw, so completely reckless. She stood and walked toward him. Her guards tensed at the edges of the garden, but she waved them back. You build empires and destroy them within a single lifetime. You love with no contracts and hate with no restraint. You are everything the Kethmari have forgotten how to be. She was standing very close now. Cole could feel the warmth radiating from her skin. She was hot like a sun and cool like deep water at the same time. It should have been impossible. It was. Is that why you have been watching me? Cole asked. Because I am fascinating? Yes. She reached out one tendril and touched his face. It felt like being touched by silk and electricity at once. You stood against the Varati knowing you would die. You did not hesitate. You did not calculate. You simply acted. That is just how humans are. I know. And I find myself wanting to be more like that. Cole stood up. They were very close now. Close enough that he could see the subtle patterns in her silver skin. Close enough that her 4 eyes filled his entire vision. Your guards will not like this, he said. My guards will do as I command. The protocols. I am tired of protocols. Her voice was stronger now. I am tired of rules. I am tired of calculating every moment of my existence. For 3,000 years, I have been exactly what my empire needed me to be. Today, I want to be something else. What do you want to be? She smiled. It was strange to see a smile on a face with 4 eyes and no lips quite like human lips. But it was definitely a smile. I want to be surprised, she said. I want someone to do something I did not predict. I want to feel something I did not plan to feel. Cole understood then why he was really here. She did not want to study humans. She did not want to discuss military traditions or political alliances. She wanted to be near someone who did not treat her like a goddess. Someone who might actually do something unexpected. I should warn you, Cole said. Humans are very good at doing unexpected things. I am counting on it. They talked for hours after that. The princes asked questions about Earth, about human history, about wars and love and art and food. Cole answered as best he could. He was not a historian or a philosopher, but he knew what it meant to be human. When the meeting finally ended, the fall sky had turned dark and filled with stars. Cole stood to leave, but the princess stopped him with a touch on his arm. "Thank you," she said. "This was the most interesting conversation I have had in 500 years. Then you should talk to more humans." "Perhaps I will." Her 4 eyes looked into his. "But I think I would like to talk to you again, Lieutenant Bennett." Cole walked back through the strange corridor with his heart beating fast. He did not know what was happening between him and the princess. He did not know if it was politics or curiosity or something else entirely. But he knew one thing for certain. He wanted to see her again too. The Convergence was entering its final week when everything fell apart. Cole was on his regular guard shift outside the human quarters when the alarm started. The crystal walls of the hall turned red. The soft music that always played in the background changed to a harsh warning sound. Aliens ran through the corridors shouting in languages Cole could not understand. He grabbed a passing attendant, a small gray being with too many arms. "What is happening?" "Assassination attempt," the attendant said. "Someone tried to kill the Kethmari princess." Cole's blood went cold. He found Ambassador Holloway in the meeting room surrounded by other human staff. Her face was pale and her hands were shaking. "Is she alive?" Cole asked. "Yes, the attempt failed." "But Cole," the ambassador looked at him with fear in her eyes. "They are saying a human weapon was used. They found human security codes on the assassin. They intercepted human communications planning the attack. That is impossible. We would never." "I know. But the evidence says otherwise." Within an hour, Kethmari soldiers had surrounded the human quarters. Their organic armor bristled with weapons that seemed to grow from their bodies. They did not speak. They did not need to. The message was clear. Humans were now prisoners. Cole paced his small room like a trapped animal. None of this made sense. The human delegation had no reason to attack the princess. She had been protecting them. She had been helping them. Without her support, humans had no future in galactic politics. Someone had framed them. But who? And why? Lisa came to his room after midnight. "The council is meeting tomorrow. They will decide what to do with us. What are the options? Execution, exile, war against Earth." Lisa sat down heavily on his bed. "Take your pick. They are all bad." Cole thought about Valara. Was she hurt? Was she scared? Did she believe the lies about humans? "There has to be something we can do," he said. "There is nothing. The evidence is too strong. Even species that were friendly to us are now calling for human blood. The evidence is fake. We know that. But no one else believes us." Cole made a decision then. It was a stupid decision. It was a reckless decision. It was exactly the kind of decision that had kept him at the rank of lieutenant for 10 years. "I need to see the council," he said. "They will not let you speak. You are just a soldier. Then I will make them listen." The council chamber was the largest room in the Convergence Hall. Representatives from every major species sat in a great circle around a central platform. At the highest position sat the Kethmari leaders, old and grim and covered in dull gray armor. Princess Valara was there too. Cole could see her on an elevated seat to the left of the main platform. She looked tired. Her glow was dimmer than before. But she was alive. The Kethmari guards tried to stop Cole at the entrance. He pushed past them before they could react. He walked into the center of the council chamber and stood on the main platform. Every eye in the room turned to him. "I am Lieutenant Cole Bennett of Earth," he said loudly. "And I am here to challenge the charges against humanity." The room exploded with noise. Aliens shouted and clicked and buzzed in 100 different languages. The old Kathmari leader struck his staff against the floor to restore order. You have no right to speak here, human. Your species is accused of attempted assassination. The evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is fabricated, Cole said. Someone is framing humanity to destroy our relationship with the Kathmari. And what proof do you offer? Cole had no proof. He had no evidence, no documents, no recordings. He had only his words and his willingness to die for them. I offer a challenge, he said. Under human military tradition, I challenge any who claim humanity's guilt to face me in single combat. If I win, humanity is cleared of all charges. If I lose, you can do whatever you want with my body. The noise in the chamber became deafening. Representatives from dozens of species demanded attention. Protocols were cited. Rules were argued. Through it all, Cole kept his eyes on Princess Valara. She was smiling. The Varadi representative stepped forward. The Varadi accept your challenge. We will provide our champion. His name is Krex. He has killed 300 opponents in ritual combat. Your human will die screaming, and then we will destroy your pathetic planet. The old Kathmari leader raised his staff. The challenge is accepted. Combat will take place tomorrow at dawn. May the innocent survive. The guards dragged Cole out of the chamber. He did not resist. He had done what he needed to do. Ambassador Holloway was waiting for him in his quarters. She slapped him across the face. You fool, she said. You absolute fool. That Varadi will tear you apart. Then they will use your death as proof of our guilt. Maybe, Cole said. But at least I made them fight for it. That is not good enough, Cole. Billions of lives depend on this. Earth depends on this. And you just threw it all away on a stupid challenge. Lisa helped him prepare for the combat. They ran through fighting techniques. They analyzed Varadi weaknesses. They both knew it was pointless. The Varadi were faster and stronger than humans in every way. Cole had no real chance. You could run, Lisa said. Steal a ship and disappear into deep space. I could never come home. You might live. Cole shook his head. Living as a coward is not living. Whatever happens tomorrow, at least I will know I tried. That night, there was a knock at his door. Princess Valara stood in the hallway. Her guards were nowhere to be seen. Her glow was brighter now, almost painful to look at. May I come in? She asked. Cole stepped aside to let her enter. His small room seemed even smaller with her in it. She filled the space with light and warmth and something else he could not name. You could still withdraw the challenge, she said. Accept exile, live, and leave my people to die for something they did not do. The assassin was sent by the Synthri. They have been trying to stop human advancement for decades. I have already informed the council. By morning, humanity will be cleared. Cole stared at her. Then why am I fighting? You are not. Not anymore. She moved closer to him. Her tendrils reached out and touched his face. But I wanted to come here tonight because of what you were willing to do. I do not understand. You did not know your people would be saved when you made that challenge. You were willing to die based on nothing but faith in their innocence. Her 4 eyes were very close to his now. In 3,000 years, I have never seen such courage. It was not courage. It was stubbornness. Perhaps. Her smile was soft and strange and beautiful. But it was also magnificent. They stood together in the small room, alien and human, princess and soldier. Outside, the galaxy continued its endless turning. Wars were planned and treaties were signed. Species rose and fell like waves on an infinite shore. But in that moment, none of it mattered. There was only her. There was only him. There was only the space between them, growing smaller with each breath. "I have spent my whole life following rules," Valara said, "being what others needed me to be. Tonight, I want to be something else. What do you want to be?" She looked at him with all four of her beautiful, impossible eyes. "I want to be surprised." Cole did not think. He did not calculate the odds or consider the consequences. He did not worry about protocols or rules or the 1,000 years of tradition he was about to break. He simply leaned forward and kissed her. Her lips were not like human lips. They were softer, warmer, and they glowed faintly against his mouth. Her tendrils wrapped around his arms and shoulders, pulling him closer. She tasted like starlight and electricity and something ancient and wild for a long moment. The universe stopped. Then they separated. And Cole saw that her four eyes were wide with shock. "No one has ever done that," she whispered. "In 3,000 years, no one has ever simply kissed you, touched me, approached me, acted without asking permission first." Her tendrils were still wrapped around him, as if she was afraid he might disappear. "You just did it. Humans do not wait for permission." Cole smiled. "We just act." Valara laughed. It was a sound like crystal bells and distant thunder, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "Then humanity and I are going to get along very well indeed." They spent the rest of the night talking. Cole told her about Earth, about oceans and mountains and cities that lit up the night. Valara told him about the Kethmari Empire, about worlds made of crystal and stars that sang in colors humans could not see. When dawn came, they walked together to the council chamber. The room was already full. Every species had sent representatives to witness what they thought would be Cole's execution. The Variety champion Krex stood on the combat platform, his mandibles clicking with anticipation. But before anyone could speak, Princess Valara stepped forward. "The charges against humanity are dropped," she announced. Her voice carried to every corner of the chamber without effort. "The Synthery Collective has admitted to planning the assassination attempt and framing the humans. They will face justice under Kethmari law." Chaos erupted. The Synthery representatives tried to flee, but were caught by Kethmari guards. The Variety champion roared in frustration. Species that had been calling for human blood now pretended they had supported humanity all along. Through it all, Cole stood quietly beside the princess. He could feel the eyes of the entire galaxy on them, wondering what it meant that a human soldier was standing so close to Kethmari royalty. When the noise finally died down, the old Kethmari leader spoke. "There is still the matter of the combat challenge." Lieutenant Bennett issued a formal challenge. "It cannot simply be withdrawn." Valara smiled. "Actually, it can. Under Kethmari law, any challenge becomes void if the challenged party is proven guilty of deception." The Variety accepted the challenge, knowing humanity was innocent. Their champion will fight no one today. The Variety representative sputtered with rage. "This is an outrage. This is justice." Valara's voice was cold now. "And if the Variety have complaints, they can take them up with the Kethmari Empire directly." The Variety had no more complaints. Later that day, the Convergence held its closing ceremony. But before the final speeches began, Princess Valara made an announcement that shocked the entire galaxy. "The Kethmari Empire is entering into a formal alliance with Earth," she declared. "This alliance will include technology sharing, military cooperation, and cultural exchange. It is the first such alliance we have formed in over 1,000 years." The representatives stared in disbelief. Ambassador Holloway looked like she might faint. Even the old Kethmari leaders seemed surprised, though they quickly hid it behind masks of formal approval. A coach, journalist from one of the major galactic networks, called out a question. "Your Highness, why humanity? Of all the species in the galaxy, why choose the newest and weakest for such an honor?" Valara looked at Cole. Her 4 eyes were bright with amusement and something deeper. "Because they kissed me," she said simply. "And I liked it." The statement spread across the galaxy within hours. It became the most famous quote of the century. Historians would debate its meaning for generations. Politicians would try to replicate its success, but Cole knew the truth. It was not about politics or strategy or ancient wisdom. It was about a princess who had been alone for 3,000 years. And a soldier who was too stupid to be afraid. In the weeks that followed, Cole was promoted to captain, then commander, then admiral. Ambassador Holloway complained that he was rising faster than she could sign the paperwork. But Cole's official titles mattered less than his unofficial one. He became the first human in the Kethmari royal court. There was no precedent for his position. No rules governed his behavior. He was free to act as he wished. He wished to stay close to Valara. They met whenever her duties allowed. They talked for hours about everything and nothing. She taught him about Kethmari history. He taught her how to make coffee. She showed him stars that human eyes had never seen. He showed her how to dance like humans dance, close and warm and full of feeling. The other species watched with fascination and confusion. Humans were supposed to be weak. Humans were supposed to be unimportant. But here was a human who walked beside the most powerful princess in the galaxy, as if he belonged there. Some species were angry. Some were jealous. Some tried to copy the human approach, sending their own soldiers to flirt with royalty. It never worked. Because they did not understand. Cole had not kissed Valara to gain power. He had not approached her to form alliances. He had done it simply because he wanted to. Because she was beautiful and lonely, and he could not stand to see her sad anymore. That was what made humans different. That was what made them special. They did not calculate. They did not plan. They just acted. And sometimes that was exactly what the galaxy needed. Years later, when Cole was old and Valara was still young by her species standards, a historian asked him to describe the moment that changed galactic history. Cole thought about it for a long time. He thought about the convergence hall with its shifting crystal walls. He thought about the garden with the upward flowing fountain. He thought about a princess who had never been surprised in 3,000 years. "I saw someone who was lonely," he said finally, "and I did something about it. That is all. That is the great secret of human success." Cole smiled. "That is everything. We see something that needs to be fixed, and we fix it. We see someone who needs help, and we help them. We do not ask if it is wise or safe or proper. We just act, and if your actions lead to disaster, then we act again, and again, and again, until we get it right or die trying." The historian nodded and wrote down his words. But Cole knew that she did not really understand. How could she? She was not human. She had not stood in that small room with a princess who glowed like moonlight. She had not felt the moment when 3,000 years of loneliness finally broke. She had not tasted starlight on her lips and known, without any doubt, that the universe would never be the same. Cole looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, Valara was attending to her duties, leading her empire, being the perfect princess that everyone expected. But tonight, she would come to him. Tonight, they would talk and laugh and remember the moment when a bold human soldier broke every rule in the galaxy. Tonight. Like every night, they would be surprised together. And that was exactly how Cole wanted it. The end.